programs we have as part of the MAN community, where we explore the potential to make sure that the equipment follows the child, and that those computers and all the other buying pieces of equipment that they have over there at MAN are met. And we still have not, I think, have an opportunity to meet with those communities yet, because we during that meeting at FOSTEC, we did talk to them about, hey, if there's other ideas, thoughts, or suggestions that they may have about their numbers. And you know, the mayor was a good catalyst in telling us about that there was some data that he had regarding the trends of the population there, that we need to sit down and talk with Ed Garza and the rest of the folks out there to be able to bring them in to help buy into that process as well. And we got to follow up with them as well and make sure that the parents totally understand the whole process of the transition of the child from MAN to the other schools, and not lose flavor of this whole thing, because we got to stay in lockstep with the communities. Otherwise, it's going to fall between the cracks, and we'll get lost again in this whole shuffle. But I want to thank you for doing this. It's a good first step. Let's just have some good community buy-in. Appreciate it.
High school, we couldn't do it at another high school. I would like you to please make certain that is the case, because if it isn't, then this is all for naught, and we could still have it at and I really want to make sure that is the case. The TEA will still go along with us if we do it at a high school. We wouldn't have to worry about all the facility changes and whatnot. Could you please check that and make sure that that's the thing?
Okay. Mr. Aurelio? I guess I want to make sure that I say that we always talk about rigor, rigor for the students. I hear where people are talking about the brain drain. I think that we have to not be concerned with that. I think that this is if you remember what we hear from the students, there's a lot of them say they're being held back because they want more, but because they're the only one or two in the class who are they're having to wait for the other one to catch up. We're going to lose those in them, and we already have been losing them, and they want to be challenged. So I don't see this, again, it's kind of like the girls' school where we're all thinking, well, how are we going to get that? We've got people left and right wanting to get into that school. And I see this being the same thing. I guess, but if we're doing this, let's not be afraid of that. Because I think that's some of the schools afraid that they're going to lose, they're right on the line as far as whether they're, temporary or what. If they lose X number of students, they're concerned that now they're going to be just regular. Well, then they need to step it up. Don't depend on one or two children in every school to keep you at a place. You got to be able to let those kids go and continue to move on. And I think that's what this is, the concept. I'm thinking maybe somebody will tell me different, but that's the way I see it. That this is just another challenge that we're trying to do to move away with the old school thinking of what we've done. The one best system. We've done it one way for so long that whenever we talk about change, man, it's like, it's incredible that we can think of things. So I hope that we can continue, you and your staff, Dr. Jerome, continue to bring us these ideas and keep us going in the 2000 age, 2010, 2012. Keep us going, all right? Well, thank you for you and your staff for everything y'all do. Thank you. Mr. Sillard?
One last request, Dr. Dillon. When we talk about this again, much of a problem we have with dropout. Let's talk about in at least 4 or 5 programs. I know what they told us in Corpus Christi about retention rate on students. They haven't lost any in 2 years, not one. But can we talk about that in some of these other districts as well? Because that directly addresses our opportunity for improvement with dropout. Thank you.
It speaks to some of our legislative initiatives that we want to move forward on. I think that while the legislature is stepping up and putting monies into programs like this, we need to explore the potential of lobbying our legislation efforts toward doing a early, college type system that will start as early as that'll. This is something that I'm sure is not offered right now, but if we can work with the communities to try to put everything together and push that, we want to be the first district to step up to the plate and offer an early an academy of some sort that'll funnel children as early as pre-K all the way through K through 12, and do something like that. Maybe set it up for a good facility. We've got some facilities that are underutilized still that we need to begin to start planning for the future. And if we do that, we can save off having to have any future closure of schools and combining the K through 12 academy, like not at Man, but at Whittier down the street, at Whittier or at Twain. At Twain, which proximity to the SAC is relatively good as well. So, don't forget you've got some vacant facilities on the west side of San Antonio that we definitely need something positive to go in those things that will help our children. So appreciate the thought.
Mr. Chair, just one final comment, because some comments have been made about the comprehensive high schools. Last year, the staff, we all implemented a College Connection program with the community college, where students could take the AccuPlacer exam, apply for financial aid, and apply to go to college. Right now, we have 31%. Did I mess that number up? We have 31% more students enrolled in community college, than we did the previous year. And now, a lot of the surrounding districts are starting to pick up on that program. We brought that in. It's made a significant difference, and we're seeing an increase in that even in this year, so we're anticipating that. So we are doing things for our comprehensive high schools. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, what college textbooks cost, they're just out of reach, and that's something that I'd like, and you said you were going to address that. But and I'm glad you said because university level professors are known to change textbooks annually, and at the cost of $90, $100, $120, $150 per textbook plus supplemental material, it just gets out of hand. The other is, if you would also investigate when you're doing your due diligence on this, because I know that some of these models, a student can earn an associate degree and graduate from high school with an associate degree. And so that's something that in your due diligence, I mean, this is something that cannot be rushed. The other is, it's an assumption, but I don't think it's an assumption. These hours that these students take at SAC would be transferable to UTSA.
Yes, sir.
So that's something we need to tighten up on. And the other, because it would benefit UTSA or any other university to have a feeder program, and to see if they would be willing to somehow provide scholarships to these individuals and kind of zero in on it.
We can discuss that with Dr. Romo for sure.
Good. All right. All right. Well, with that, the time is now 8:35. The date is